Hello, I'm Joshua, and I'm an INTP, and first and foremost, I would like to say thank you for viewing this video, and subsequently visiting my channel. Um, the topic of this video is just going to be, I guess, an expression for the introverted feelers. So, introverted feeling as a function is a, well, introverted feeling as a concept. I don't want to say introverted feeling as a function any longer. Here's one way you can think of introverted feeling as a concept. Introverted feeling is the humanistic expression that celebrates self. It celebrates the idea of the self in human suffrage and being. The reason that is, from a certain narrativistic standpoint, is because life is rather tragic in many of its angles, and it is the case that probably for most of human existence and interaction, there has been a serious siege and assault on the individual, on the individual's desire to survive, on the individual's desire to live. Excuse me, not only not live. That's commensurate with survive, but the individual's desire to also thrive, have healthy relationships, and love and admiration, pride and courage, and other human values. So, especially from nature, not only from nature, but also from other human beings, because if it wasn't the case that the world would kill you, it certainly is the case that another human being might kill you. And so, being in a group, being with other people, and being with the world, or excuse me, being in the world makes it such that you will be assaulted in your personhood, in your being, in your phenomenology. There will always be these negative experiences. So, how might a being uh, overcome the fact that the very feature that you need to be in the world in terms of you being a motivated thing, an acting thing, the very thing that you need to be in the world to have all that you are motivated to have, and to see what do you do, or what kind of attitude and perception can you turn towards a world that threatens it fundamentally. Well, one can invert the struggle. And when I say one can invert the struggle, I mean to say that one can look at this thing that is, in many respects, rather pathetic, small, limited, and vulnerable, and champion it and glorify it in action to the highest ideal and mark. So you can take the makeup of the phenomenology of you and separate it into two poles, one being the serpent and the other being the hawk. You take your most anthropomorphic, irrational, and let's just say most explosive aspects, and recognize that as the revivifying but also demonic and shadowy aspects of yourself and that of reality. And you will use that thing only whenever you need to protect or defend, and you will not care how much of it you need to pull out in order to protect and defend, whatever that is. And that comes from the extroverted thinking, I think, or the concept of extroverted thinking. And you will take the highest self and be sure to try to model it, display it, refine it, and push it to greater and greater limits and extents. And because your primary mode of being is one to act in the world, this is going to be mostly through expression. It's going to be from what you do, from what you say, and how you live. And it will definitely be about not only what you do and what you say, but how you do it and how you say it. Because style is not a matter of taste, it is a matter of existential necessity. Because life is better lived as an aesthetic experience. Without your expression and without your soul, essentially, life would just be lifeless and dead. Not only for yourself, but for the rest of the world. Because if we did not have the marvel of the introverted thinker to express something of a new mode of being of self, what could we really look at and say, my God, that might be some way I could be in the future. My God, that might be a new way to be that's better than any other way that came before it. Why would we not have things? Why? How else could we have people that we christened? We'll definitely christen people for their duty. Will in terms of their, I guess, penchant to doing what's necessary for the sake of others. We'll definitely do that. We will christen people for their ingenuity in terms of what they can discover about the world. But the concern in the center of human interest is mankind. It's humankind. We revolve around ourselves, even collectively, because we're so anthropomorphically biased innately that we either think that the worst things in the world are other human beings, or we think that the greatest things in the world are other human beings. Whether we do that, whether we literally believe those things, or we say and believe those things through our actions and words and treatments of others, that's how we are. We're anthropomorphically centered. The sun of our phenomenological or metaphysical universe is ourselves. We are reflecting on ourselves and back to ourselves. We're the light that sustains our existence. And so the introverted feeler, they can be christened in the way in which they choose to be. Because to be is the hardest thing to do in this world, quite honestly. Um, and not only to be, because there are 1,001 ways you can be, but to really be, in the sense to really be authentic, to really express whatever it is that makes you up and constitutes your mode of expression and being. And the reason that that is such a high mark and esteem is because it's not easy, because things will kill you. People won't understand you. They will ridicule you. You will be made to look like a fool. You will be made to look like a loser. You'll be the worst thing in the world in the worst ways in so many different scenarios. And accidental traits and superficial happenings see it such that your chains and your bondages might be much greater than that of another person who comes from, let's just say, I suppose a more privileged position in many ways. Without that sounding too vague, it's just to say that life is not fair and nobody picks however it is that they look, or, certain aspects, and these things lead to how the world receives you. And maybe these things conflict with how it is in terms of the internal locus of self one really appears to themselves. But you'll still don it and you'll still wear it and you'll still express it anyways, because there's no other reason to be in the world. There's no other reason to exist other than for oneself to express their highest self. And that's the introverted feelers, I guess. I don't really know what to call that. I don't really know what to call it, but that's introverted feeling. I've been thinking about the concept or the function for a very long time, trying to understand it and to figure it out. And can't say that I have or that I know really what it is, but I definitely understand how the introverted feeler thinks. Or not, I guess I shouldn't say they think, but it's just, what's the phenomenology of the thing. That's what it seemed. That's what I seem to get. So yeah, that's just something for introverted feelers. I don't know if it's inspiring. I don't know what it is, but it's to me it's the truth. It's a very weird way of expressing something that's true because it's purely narrative. I can't say that this is anything that any person can go out in the world and measure, though that's absolutely necessary for the advancement of knowledge and to test whether or not something really is the case or not. But I don't know. I think this. I speak like this for introverted feelers because I think introverted feelers will appreciate it. So, yeah, that's my video, and I guess it will be called For Introverted Feelers. So, thank you for watching.